I'd be so honored for my kids I have 4 boys, and I'd be so honored for them to go to the IDF and fight for the Jewish people. But with the leadership, it doesn't seem that they're saying they're gonna take back Gaza, annex it, and give it back to the Jewish people.
Yeah.
They're sending in soldiers. Young men are dying, people 18, 19, 20 years old. They're just every day we're getting those messages. And for what? There is no end game. It's just for the sake of what? I would not want my children going to Gaza to be some sort of political tribute.
When the Army called me in reserve duty, they asked me, they're like, well, we want to know whether you would be willing to help with disengagement from Gaza in 2005. And I said to them, why don't you just arrest me now? Because there's no way I'm going to help you take Jews out of Gaza. So I told them straight out, I'm not, and they were shocked.
You know, I speak to a lot of Jews who, people have different excuses why they aren't ready to move to Eretz Yisrael. They don't want to make Aliyah yet. And a lot of them will just say, you know, I'm just waiting for things to get even a bit better, you know? Now, the way I see it is like, that's why I wanted to ask you, because you've been in Israel for quite a long time. And it seems to me like things have gotten so much better, like
right.
worlds better.
Right.
And I think, I feel pretty confident at this point, which is what I preach in my videos. I think we're at a point where it's like we are at probably almost the best it's going to get in a certain sense. Like we're okay. So people here aren't making bucket loads of money like they are in America and living up at the exact same level. But for the most part, we're living extremely comfortable lives. People can make a living here. People are doing fantastic here. And so I would like to ask you, like, for those people who are saying, you know, I'm just still waiting till it gets better. Do you think it can get better? And if so, what are people waiting for? What do you think that can happen that will allow more people to want to come?
Michal, great to be with you. First thing is, let's break down that question and answer set that you just put out there, like a little bit more psychologically. What are the things that are blocking people from coming to Eretz Yisrael? They may say to you one thing, but there's many other blockages to their ability to come here. First thing could be that they have family in America. And that's, or let's say America, or wherever it is. They just have family. And breaking up with family, leaving is hard. A lady who's got her mom next door and her sister next door, it's hard to leave. It doesn't matter how good or not good it is at Eretz Yisrael. She may believe that Eretz Yisrael is the place to be. She may want it, but her society, her friends, her family is there. So that's like one. The other thing is all the other issues. Mentality, making a living, not wanting to be a person who speaks with an accent for the rest of their life. Right? Like, think about that. My mother left the Soviet Union in her 20s. Then she lived in Israel, then America, then Israel again. She said to me, all my life I've been living with an accent. And then her and I traveled once to Russia on a roots tour. She's like, for the first time in many years, I've been a person that doesn't have an accent. I speak the language correctly, totally. So think about that. Like, people are saying to themselves, like, I am now giving up all of what I am. I'm an American Jew. And now I have to move to a different country with a different mentality, figure out how to make a living, leave my family. It's hard. These are hard things. And you know what the hardest thing of them all is? Just change. Just change.
Right.
Just change is hard. Just that. Like, change is not easy. So for all these reasons, that's what's underneath it all. Is Israel a decent place to live? Absolutely. Is it as decent of a place to live in America? I'm not sure. I'm not sure I would compete it. I don't think I can put it head to head and Israel's going to come out ahead. It's like an iPhone, Samsung test. You know what I mean? It's like the camera and this and that. Like, when you add it up all together, it might be that America is easier to make money. The system is a little bit more, stable, less crazy politics, less terrorism, seemingly. So, like, I don't know if I sell Israel because it's I'd love to sell Israel to say it's a better place to live, but it's not there yet. I sell Israel by telling them what I think is the real truth. It's a different spiritual level. Right. It's just a different spiritual level. I'm not going to tell you that it's a better physical life. I'm going to tell you, look, you might have to sacrifice a little bit, but it's a different spiritual madrega. It's a different thing. It's a different beast. It's a different level altogether. And I can prove it from the Gemaras as well. And just from life here, you're closer to God. You're closer to the history of the Jewish people. You're really part of something great, And so when I come to people, and when somebody says that to me, that it's not as perfect as it could be yet, That might be true. There might be a person like that, and you can make that argument being like, listen, it's the best it's ever been. But I don't know if that's what's really going on underneath it.
Right, no, for sure. There's no I didn't mean at all that like it's better in Israel physically. I'm just saying that for the fact that we know we're supposed to be here.
Yeah.
And we can sense the Gula is coming, and we know that it's a mitzvah to be here, and it's so divine and so spiritual and so holy. But the obstacle was that it was too difficult. What I'm saying is like at this point, I think we've reached the point where like can you really say can a spiritually healthy, religious Jew, for the most part, really can he really feel confident to say I'm willing to give up everything that Eretz Yisrael has to offer based off of the excuse of it's still not easy enough to live in?
Right. So, but that person is telling you that they have fears or discomforts or issues, right? So yeah, I agree with you. I get your point. Your point is 100% correct. Listen, it's the best it's ever been.
Yeah.
And it is good. It's really good. And thank God. You know what? I don't eschew, physical comforts. It's good. You know what I mean? You could have, we live here in Gush Etzion. It's beautiful. It really is very beautiful. The air is amazing. The quality of life is amazing. The Yiddishkeit is amazing. You know what I mean? You're really growing a child up, and that's like one of the pluses. Like you're really raising a child with Hebrew, with the Chagim being in the right times. It's an organic lifestyle. The faith, the land, the God above, the society, the land beneath, the whole thing is one. It's unified. It's organic. That's the advantage. And it's a different spiritual plane. That's the advantage. Today, thank God, we have malls. We have decent cars. Are they as decent as American cars? No. Do people wait here in line like they should? In a nice queue? No. Are there things to work on? Are there bad guys that we got to push back? Yes. So yes, there are issues. But really, I'm telling you, the question is, how do you get to the real bottom of what the person is saying to you? Today, I used to be a big Aliyah pusher, Aliyah activist. I have shifted somewhat of a gear, and it's for various reasons, and I'm happy to tell you about it. But basically today I say to people, I show them that the life is good. I show them that the life is rich in other ways, and I always give them an option to move closer. Dahainu, meaning to say, I always tell people, I told yesterday, I was at a big party yesterday, I must have told 3 people, buy an apartment. Did you buy that apartment yet? Buy the apartment. It's not going to get cheaper, and it's good for your money. Buy that apartment. Take a step. Go to sleep at night knowing that you have an apartment in Yerushalayim, in Tel Aviv, in Eretz Yisrael, in Beit Shemesh. Doesn't matter. Take a step. What's your step? What's your step closer to Eretz Yisrael? I've told people around the world, and people have taken this advice from me, drink wine from Eretz Yisrael Friday night. Take a step closer. Take a step closer. Now, my COO, Yocheved, is a Chabadnik, and she told me that there was, and her father was a journalist, she told me there was a Teamster leader who had a slogan, a one-word slogan. And that one-word slogan was more. I love that slogan. More. And that's what I preach. When it comes to American Jews, I preach more connectivity. More sending your kids here. More Chayalim Bodedim, lone soldiers. More get an apartment. Come here for the summer. Read about Eretz Yisrael. Drink wine Friday night. Don't forget to find a tzedakah that's not only a chesed tzedakah, but a building tzedakah. So that you can really call yourself a Zionist. Or an Eretz Yisrael. Or Shleimus Arts, however you want to say it. Find that connection. Take that step. That's what I'm preaching today. Aliyah, you zachita. You won the lottery. You're able to live in Eretz Yisrael. It's the greatest chud in the world. You can only live a half a year. Great. You have a summer house. Amazing. But let's say you're not one of those people, but you try to fly to Eretz Yisrael. Make sure that you come every year. Right? Put that in the calendar and put that into your financial calendar as well. Like, make it a priority. We come in the summer times. I know a lot of people like that. They're in America for X, Y, or Z reason, but they come in the summer. They want their kids to see what their value system is. So I've become, shall we say, less, it's not a binary option in my mind. It's not like you're either a Gullus Jew or Eretz Yisrael Jew. Today there's a lot of ways to be connected, and a lot of people are connected. When I speak today in America, there's almost no shul that doesn't have a kid that's a Chayal Boded, that's a lone soldier. It's just out there. So I actually see a lot of good, and I'm preaching more. Now, I have colleagues that you've interviewed that are more doomsday-ish. They may be right, you know. And if Mamdani, is the mayor of New York, that might be a problem. And there definitely is a downward trajectory for the United States in general. I'm not putting a timeline on it. I don't know what the timeline is. Okay? And I could talk about that kind of stuff. But I rather, if you feel anti-Semitism, get the hell out of there. But if you don't feel it, if you live in Lakewood, if you live in Brooklyn, if you live in Muncie, if you live in Miami, if you live in Boca, if you live in all these places, and you feel fine, then take a step towards Eretz Yisrael, because it's the Geula process, because it's something amazing, because it's a dream of 2,000 years, because it's, like you said, it's a mitzvah, etc., etc. Take another step closer to it. But I'm not going to come bash you over the head. I'm not going to do it.
But on that note, I mean, so ignorance is bliss in certain areas, but I think for the Jews, ignorance has never been very blissful. Do you think that, I don't either like to be doomsday. I want to be able to preach Eretz Yisrael and tell people to come to Eretz Yisrael because of how holy it is and because you can become closer to Hashem. But do you, but if the he might not become mayor, this Mamdani guy, because there's so many people trying to stop him. But there's certain signs, Kanye West and this guy and just so many things taking place.
There's no question that anti-Semitism is cool. Palestinianism, which is just a way to normalize anti-Semitism, is cool. It's cool on Columbia campus. There's no doubt about it. It's in the streets of New York. It's in the streets of Boston. It's in the streets of Los Angeles. There's no doubt about it. It's not as sweet, and the golden age has passed. There's no doubt about that. That was the cover of the Atlantic magazine, or New Yorker, Atlantic, I think. And yeah, we know the golden age has passed. There's a lot of anti-Israelism, a lot of anti-Semitism masked as anti-Israelism. There's no doubt about that. And certainly, talking about America, certainly London, France, Belgium, these places have changed. But then you don't need this podcast for that. You know what I mean? Unless you're dumb. You know what I'm saying? If you can't, and Jews are not dumb. Jews sense that there's a change and they start to shift gears. The gear a lot of times is like this. The gear shift is like this. When I was like 18 living in America, 17 living in America, and I wanted to go to Israel and go to the army, it was considered crazy. Today it's normative. The change is when the young man or young woman says to their parents, I want to study in college at the IDC, or I want to go to the Israeli army, and the father and the mother say, good, Michael, good. Good, go with that. Matzlach bracha matzlach. We're right behind you. If there's a change like that, then a change has transpired. Okay, the parents have to let go. When I was in Aliyah activism mode, I saw that the pasuk that talks about shiluach haken, shooing away the mother bird, was really about the problem of how parents are holding on to young Jewish people and holding them back in the gullus, and how you sometimes have to shoo away the parents, respectfully, in order to take the chicks and the eggs to Eretz Yisrael. I kept that in my mouth shut, because I thought to myself, this is too noaz, it's too wild of a parish. And I found it in the Balaturim. I found it in the Balaturim mamish, actually on Shirat Hayam in Beshalach, but okay, take a look there. It's there, and he says yes. Shiluach haken means that Hashem pushed out the generation of the Midbar and let them die in the desert and took to himself the next generation. But all that is that's intense stuff. I'm trying to talk about opportunities. I'm trying to talk about more. How can we get closer to it? And how do you let your kids go? And you're right. There's no doubt about it. The golden age. If you are afraid to wear your kippah on the subway, it's not the same New York. Although I wear my kippah on the subway when I visit there. But it's maybe not the same New York, okay? Yeah, you're right about that. I'm not going to disagree with you about that. But in Paris, Jews are leaving. In London, Jews are, more likely to leave.
So again, I don't mean to dwell on the doomsday idea, but it's
your show.
Go ahead. Yeah. No, because I don't like to come from the doomsday point, but we brought it up. But so I just, because this is something I do think about. People say it's like, this is what happened by the Holocaust. It was getting a little worse, and people are like, nah, it won't get worse than that. It got a little worse. It won't get worse than that, and then it was too late. Like, how many times have we learned from that same exact mistake of just pushing it up? We're not willing to leave. We're not willing to leave. We're not willing to do anything. We're not willing to leave our comfort zone, and then it's too late. And it just happened, 2 generations ago, with the Holocaust. And again, like, I don't, people like, people are always saying, you can't compare everything to the Holocaust. But this isn't everything. This is like, I think it's very, very similar. We're in a country. We're feeling comfortable. We're doing well. We're doing well financially. We're doing well politically. And then all of a sudden, everyone turns on us. It happens really quick. Everyone, and all the Jews are like in denial. And then boom, next thing you know, all hell breaks loose. You can't, it's very hard to say. It's not almost the exact same story as what happened just 80 years ago. So, like, what would you say to that?
I would say that is compelling. I would say that is compelling on the one hand. On the other hand, when you go down to Florida, that's not what you feel. Okay? That's not what people feel. And so I don't know if I could always make that argument to them when they're living in Boca, or Israelis leave Israel for Hollywood, Florida. It's a compelling argument when you put it in historical context, but that's not people's experience. Okay? That's not how people feel. So there's a Candace Owens, she's a Meshuggah, and that kind of thing. Like, on the day-to-day, when you're in Florida, you feel great. You feel really great. And they'll tell you, they could argue like, bro, you're the one who had, 1,300 people murdered in one day here in Israel. Like, you're the one who has bad guys. You're the one who has Knesset members who are jihadists. And they'll say to you, like, you're making that argument? Like, let me make you an argument of what I'm seeing with my eyes. That this the country of Israel is not totally taking care of its enemies. And, allowed October the 7th to happen, et cetera, et cetera. Like, it's no pashut. Like, I'm going to send my kid to the army. He's going to fight in the army. So I'm just talking to you from the perspective of a person out there. They may not exactly add it up that way. I believe in letting people be mature adults. I believe in the intellect of Jews. I believe that they'll know. And so I'm giving them an option. I'm giving them an option when I talk with them to take a step, to have that, if you want to say within that rubric that you're talking about, well, you'll have that apartment that you could run to if the proverbial stuff hits the fan, right? That's an option. If you feel it on your flesh that this is no longer your place to be, then get out. But besofo shel davar, at the end, what we're talking about is the destiny and the grandeur of rebuilding Zion. Baruch atah Hashem, hamachzir shechinato leTzion. Blessed are you, God, King of the universe, who returns his presence to Zion. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about building a Beit HaMikdash. And if you can't see it in that rubric, then see it at least in the great return of the Jewish people to the land of Israel and the rebuilding of a Jewish state, indigeneity, fulfilling an ancient dream. If you can't see it in totally religious terms, in Beit HaMikdash terms, at least, the exciting project of Zionism, the building of Yerushalayim, it's exciting, it's life-affirming, it's full of vigor and life. Okay? Like, be part of that is exciting, it's just awesome, it's a gift to be part of it. Hashem, can you please give me just this much to be part of your great story? Just this much. Can I live on a hilltop? Can I build Yerushalayim? Can I, send my kids to learn Torah to Eretz Yisrael in Tel Aviv? Like, it's a gift. It's a matana. So that's where I'm coming from. That's where I want to come from. Antisemitism, if you feel it, yalla. You know what I mean? If Hashem had to send that boot to get you here. But at the same time, I don't want to alienate Jews. Doesn't mean I want to pander to them, because I'm not a panderer. Nobody can accuse me of that. But I don't want to alienate you, so I want to come to them with love. I want to come to them with respect. You're a smart person. You're a smart person. You know your stuff. You know how to make a living. You probably know a lot of things that I don't know how to do well. You're smarter than me in a million ways. So I'm not going to come and tell you now. I'm not going to hit you over the head with my understanding of world history. You're smart. You get it. I'm giving you the option. Take a step closer. And that will ensure you and that you're going to be safe, Mr. Hashem, and plug you in to the big story. My job is inspiration. That's how I see my personal job. I learned that I can't be a person who comes and judges the other so much. I can't do that. It's not what I want to do in this world. I don't want people to think of me as a guy who comes into their community and he's going to judge them. I've learned to bless them. I bless them. I bless their rabbi. I bless their mikvah. I bless their shul. I bless their school. In my heart, I bless them. And I say, Hashem, protect them and give them korach. And I give them inspiration. Do you see what I'm saying? It's a shift. It's a paradigm shift.
People, right. I'm like a little bit of someone would call me an extremist the way I talk in my videos. I'm a little hardcore. But the truth, and so
I think that you are passionate.
I'm very passionate.
Yeah, I think that I won't agree to that word extremist.
Right.
That's a derogatory term. I'm also an extremist. I extremely love my wife, and I extremely love my kids, and I extremely love Yerushalayim, and but we are passionate. Yeah. You're passionate, and you are expressing that passion. And as long as you are giving people the ability to swallow that, to digest it, and to take apart for themselves and get stronger through it, that's great. The minute you're pushing people off, then maybe the loss overcomes the success.
Right. So yeah. So because of that, people sometimes accuse me of being judgmental because of the way I talk smack against people in Chutz La'aretz. But I this is just a point. I would say it's less judgmental and more because I believe in the Jewish people. It's just like it's like sometimes you'll yell at your kid, not because you think less of it. You think so much of them. You're like, why are you not living up to what you're capable of? And I think we're so close to the Geula, and I believe that I think the Jewish people have it in them to finish the job, and I just want to see the job finished.
I wanna pick on a word that you said, which is we're so close to the Geula. In my understanding of the word Geula in most of the Tanakh, especially in the Chamisha Chumshei Torah, the word Geula is something that we do. We do Geula.
I totally agree with that. I think I expressed it wrongly.
Right. No, it's okay.
I always tell people we are definitely in the Geula.
But let me make the point. The point, which is I believe not in Moshiach Achshav, Moshiach now, and not in peace now. I believe in responsibility now. I believe that being part of Lig'ol, to do the action of Geula, is not only is it the great responsibility of our time, it's the great call of our time. It's the great opportunity of our time. I don't actually. I'm a little bit allergic to when people say only Mashiach. I don't like that because I find that within that is this throwing off of responsibility. And I think we should be taking responsibility. Again, part of coming to Eretz Yisrael is not just me and I'm enjoying it, I'm raising my kids in Eretz Yisrael. It's actually me taking responsibility for Geula. I'm part of it. I'm making it happen. I'm an active member of it. I use the word Zionist. Maybe some of your listeners don't use that word. I don't have any problem with that word Zionist. I think it's fine. It means Zion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think of it as secular Zionism. I think of it as the return of the Jewish people to the land of Israel. And so responsibility and opportunity, and I don't fault you for being passionate, and I think that you're doing it in a way that people can hear it. I think that's the key in my whole thinking about this. You got to talk in a way that people can hear it. You can't talk down to people. Jews are smart, especially these people that made their welfare and made their lives, and they have their kids and they have their family. They're smart. And I gotta respect them. And I respect the rabbi, this and that. But I'm gonna bring him a little more. I'm gonna bring him a little step forward. I'm gonna take him an inch towards it. There's a great pasuk in the story of Eliyahu and the fire that comes down to heaven from Shamayim, from heaven, and eats up and Haifa in the Carmel. When the Avodah Zarah competes with him, when he makes this competition between the idolaters and their offering and his offering, and the fire comes down from heaven. There's a great pasuk there. The pasuk is that once he's done making fun of the idolaters, he says to the Jews, "Come closer," and they take a step closer, and he says through that he rebuilt the broken altar of Hashem. Take one step closer. You take one step closer, Hashem. If you got a Jew to take one step closer, wow, that's Geula. Okay, you really have done a lot. So that's my a little bit older guy, telling Michael, the little bit younger guy, don't forget to give Jews the respect that they need and help them come one step closer. Give them options that are not just a full Monty Aliyah. Give them options that are Can you take a step? You can't? Oh, you can't? You can't do it right now? Like I've told you, make Aliyah. You can't do it? Well, what step can you do? What's your step? What can you take?
Right. There's a lot more to talk about on this, but I wanted to actually ask a couple of questions. I just feel like you'd have maybe the answers to. It might be your expertise, and these are things that bother me. So,
B'ezrat Hashem.
Yeah. See, like you said, you've been around for longer. You've got some good answers. I've heard you say some very, very deep stuff. Not a lot of people on YouTube that I actually have the patience to sit and watch full podcast, but I find you always say some really deep stuff. So people ask me, and I think this also applies to people. I think people even here and Chutz La'aretz have this idea. People ask me, am I comfortable with my kids going to the IDF? Especially more in the Haredi world, people ask that you're comfortable with that. So I always say,
and you're coming out of the Haredi world. Are you coming out of that, or are you coming out of the modern Orthodox world? Like I want to know
where am I from?
Yeah, where are you coming from?
Yeah, I'm from an interesting family, but yeah, for the most part, I was from birth, pretty standard sort of. Brooklyn, yeah, center of Brooklyn.
Flatbush.
Kensington-ish,
Sure.
Okay. So yeah, I'm pretty mainstream guy, I suppose.
Now living on a hilltop in Judea.
Yes. I went from Brooklyn to Lakewood to a hilltop in Judea.
Okay.
And so people ask, am I comfortable with my kids going to the IDF now that I'm here? Because some people, some people use that as an excuse not to come to Eretz Yisroel. My kids are going to go to the IDF. They're going to go off the derech, this and that, all this kind of nonsense. And now, I don't believe for a second that people who go to the IDF go off the derech. There's no proof to that. I think I've met a lot of people who became much more spiritually religious in the IDF. But I do have one concern, and this is what I started answering people. And I say, I'd be so honored for my kids I have 4 boys. So I hope they all go and fight for the Jewish people. And I'd be so honored for them to go to the IDF and fight for the Jewish people. But with the leadership, and because this is something you talk about a lot, and I'm really trying to wrap my head around this. It seems to me, like in Gaza, it doesn't seem that they're saying they're gonna take back Gaza, annex it, and give it back to the Jewish people. Yeah. And a lot of people say this. They're sending in soldiers. Young men are dying. People 18, 19, 20 years old. They're just every day we're getting those messages. Here's another picture of a guy, and just like and for what? What? There is no end game. It's just for the sake of what? Bring them home, the hostages who may or may not be alive. So how many hundreds of soldiers have already died in Gaza for the sake of a few people who might be, and of course we all say this, every soul is precious, no question about that. That's not what this is about. But I want to be able to tell people that you should be proud if you come to Eretz Yisrael that your children will fight in the IDF. I want to be able to say, I'm excited for my children to be able to fight in the IDF. But in a certain sense, I don't know what's going to happen when my kids still have a couple of years. They're probably about 10 years out before they're of age. But if they were of age right now, I would be torn. I would not want my children going to Gaza to be some sort of political tribute. And, they died, people die for what's the cause. So I just want to hear some thoughts on this. Like, how should I look at this? How should people be looking at this?
I think it's a really good question. And I think it's a very real question. So before I answer you the best I can, I want to tell you that I can't answer it totally yet because my kids are also before Army. Okay? They're younger. I have a daughter. She's going to go to national service. She's from, and she's going to go through that path. And I have 2 boys, and they'll get to the Army period. And I definitely agree with your first impulse, which is like, what an honor. I could say with myself, I know that being a soldier, being amongst the first Jewish soldiers in 2,000 years, fighting for this Hebrew Jewish army in the land of Israel is an honor. It is. And it helps you matriculate into Israeli society, which in many ways is based on the army experience. And I still do reserves, and it's just a gift. It's a gift that you can do this thing, and I think that holding a gun is important as a Jew. Like a Jew that knows how to hold a gun in defense of his people is different than a Jew who does not hold a gun in defense of his people anywhere, and certainly in the land of Israel. It's important to be a defender of your peoplehood. It's part of healthy Jewish masculinity. And I don't mean just men. whatever. Let's not get into the question of men and women in the army, whatever. But that consciousness of Jewish defense is gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's biblical. It's Davidic. And many others. It's just part of who we are. And you could feel it. When you put that gun in your hand and you got that uniform, you feel that you are wearing a uniform of Hashem. You got that gun. You got the power that Hashem has given us to fight back with the bad guys and to not let them destroy us. There's a beauty to it. There's a majesty to it. And it's real. It's not fake. Like there are so many Chayalim Bodidim, these lone soldiers today, American Jews, growing up in the 5 towns. And here they are defending the Jews in Judea and fighting in Gaza. And it's in many ways it's beautiful. The overall success of the army, the IDF, is a good one. The overall record is good. Overall. But the Jewish state has also done some very stupid policies. Very, very stupid policies. Giving your land away to your enemies is dumb. And then being like, I can't believe France would declare Palestine. Well, you gave away a good chunk of your land, the holiest and the highest part of your land. You created a Palestinian Authority. Now you're surprised that France is recognizing Palestine? You did it. You created Palestine. And now we're fighting it. Now they're throwing rocks at us. Now they're shooting at us. Now they're shooting at pregnant mothers. You created this thing, and it's still being funded, and you're funding money, helping Qatar pay money to Hamas. Netanyahu did that. He helped Qatar pay Hamas. Israel was the middle point.
Unbelievable.
So there's sick stuff. There's definitely sick stuff. But overall, does the IDF protect the Jewish people and allow us to live in this land? Yes. Overall, is it an army that you can be Jewish in and even grow in your Yiddishkeit? Yes. Okay? Is there also some things that could tend you to make you less religious? Yes, you got to watch out for those things. Go to units that will help you, do it the right way. It's complex, Michael. It's complex. It's not a simple answer. The other option is to keep things simple. I don't know. I'm just living here making business. I'm not involved in the rebirth of the Jewish people, land of Israel. I go from time to time to Israel. It's nice. We stayed at a nice place. It was nice. Okay, you could be out of it or you could be in it. And in it is a complex question. In it is moral questions. In it is to teach your son to know when to follow orders to the end and when to not follow orders. When the Army called me in reserve duty and told me, they asked me, they're like, well, we want to know whether you would be willing to help with the disengagement from Gaza in 2005. The Army called me in. And I said to them, why don't you just arrest me now? Because then we could just shortcut the whole thing because later on it'll be a mess. Just arrest me right now. Because there's no way I'm going to help you take Jews out of Gaza. So I told them straight out. I'm not, and they were shocked. I'm like, just arrest me right now. That's what I told them like this. Because let's just, save time later on. Because there's no way I'll fight with everything I got within the bounds of discourse and principles of normal, let's call it democratic statecraft. Within that, I'm willing to fight. And I did. I did everything I could to stop that disengagement because I thought there would be an October 7th down the line. That's what happened. But at the same, and I was hurt by the Army. And it was a black eye for the Army. There was a bad moment there. But Habibi, it's a sophisticated and complex problem. The bottom line is you're here. You're going to teach your sons to be fighters for Israel. That's what their dad's about. That's what they're going to be about. You're going to be very proud of them. You're going to teach them to follow and obey the rules and the orders. But you're also going to teach them that there's even the first rule, the first law in the army is disobey an illegal order. That's order number 1, disobey an illegal order. If there's an order that countervails all their principles that they've been taught at your house, then you have to teach them that as well. And maybe they'll have a problem, but that'll also be okay. It is the beautiful and complex truth about being a modern Jew. You face the issues, you face that complexity, and it's going to be okay. And B'ezrat Hashem, your kids are going to be great warriors, and they're going to see the liberation of this land, and they're going to have great politicians and leaders that give them good and smart orders. Truthfully, at some point, you realize that in the army, you have to accept orders. And therefore, if you want to make change, you have to shift over to the political side. That's not totally true, because there's been soldiers and captains and officers who make a tremendous difference. Oh my gosh. I have right now a commander of the Marat HaMachpelah. He gets it. He's with it, and things are moving forward in the right direction. And when you have a commander who's not, then things go in the wrong direction. I hope your sons will not only be soldiers, but they'll be great officers with great moral conviction, a great love of Torah. And there's nothing more beautiful than a Torah Jew defending the land of Israel, like Yoshua ben Nun, like my hero Kalev ben Yefuneh. Wow. It's a zchut. It's a zchut, but it's a complex zchut.
Yeah. I had a similar question with Bibi also. Like, I find with Bibi, he's like he makes so many really bad decisions. Like some of the things you just mentioned, and I know he was involved with the whole Gilad Shalit decision, and
He was?
And I cannot like, there's just something I struggle with. I cannot wrap my head around him, because like he seems intelligent.
He's not intelligent. He's a genius. He's super intelligent.
Right.
He's a highly intelligent
seems
person.
that way.
Yeah.
So how can, I understand politicians will be politicians, but like somebody who's been around for so long, who's been leading Israel for so long, who clearly is a traditional person. He's not anti-Torah. He's not anti-God. He seems like a good traditional person. How can he be making? This is just my own curiosity. I'm sure other people are curious. How can he be making so many decisions that my 5-year-old son would know would be the dumbest thing you can possibly do? And he doesn't seem like a weak person. He seems like a leader. He seems like a powerful person. Yet it seems again and again that he just keeps caving in to the craziest, dumbest, most self-destructive things that anyone can do. Do you have any light to shed on that?
I have a few. I'll say a few points for you that'll help you think about it, maybe. First thing, Chazal say, Parnas lefi dor lefi parnas. Or maybe the other way. Dor lefi parnas lefi dor. Means to say, the generation goes after the leader goes after the generation. Okay? It means to say sometimes they lead and sometimes they're listening to the people. And so people at that position sometimes they're leaders, sometimes they're followers. When it comes to Netanyahu, here's my first thought for you, which is, in many ways, he is Israel. He is Israel. He is Israel in one person. Secular, traditional religious. He's got a Haredi daughter, secular son, right? He's a leftist sometimes. He gives away land.
That is deep.
Hamas. Sometimes he's right. He is Israel.
He kind of encompasses
He is Israel. He is Israel in one person.
That's right.
He's the manifestation of Israel. And so therefore he's sometimes a genius. Sometimes he's just plain dumb. Sometimes he's on top of the world. He's like, wow. And sometimes you're like, what the heck, man? The whole world's laughing at this weakness. Since October the 7th, he's been very strong. But before October the 7th, he voted for the disengagement for Gaza. He released 1,000 bloody murderers for Gilad Shalit. Those turned out to be the heads of the October 7th massacre. And we were like, don't do this. This is dumb. Don't give away murderers for Gilad Shalit, because it'll teach the bad guys to take hostages. And it's the wrong thing to do. And certainly don't put killers back on the street. They're killers. Don't do that. And then he funneled money from Qatar to Hamas and believed the idea that Hamas wants normalization and peace, and they just want economy and welfare and all that, and prosperity. And so he's part of the conceptia. On the other hand, since October the 7th was tragic and horrific, and a day that we were on the ropes. We were being pounded on the ropes. Almost 2 years later, we're crushing the bad guys. So I think that Netanyahu is us in many ways. He really has what I call Woody Norris disease. Sometimes he's Chuck Norris. Other times he's Woody Allen. So we're like, well, sometimes we're just like, other times we're like, like sometimes we're like weenie Jews, and sometimes we're like super powerful Jews. That's the real truth. Here's another thought for you. Maybe Benjamin Netanyahu, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, a great man. Maybe he's like Shaul a little bit.
I was going to say,
maybe he can't kill the enemy to the end. He's got a problem getting rid of the enemies. He can't get rid of the Philistines. He can't get rid of the Amalekites. He just has an issue of finishing the job. He's got this problem. And that problem is described in the Tanakh in various ways, but it's a Jewish issue. He has a hard time getting rid of them in toto. He is, in one way, a representative of the right. In other ways, he's kind of part of the secular Israel that was. He's a complex character. He is Israel. He may be Shaul. Who's next? Nobody knows. He's not done a great job of bringing up the next leadership. In fact, in some ways, he suppresses, the great other leaders. He kind of keeps them away. So it's
like every good politician does.
Well,
Keep down the
Some
competition.
some that's right. Some do and some don't. Some know how to. This is not just a politician. This is the leader of Israel. He's the king of Israel. You have to also. You're responsible for the next generation. You're responsible to help bring up the next generation of talented leadership. Okay, and I'll give you another kasha. Benjamin Netanyahu is supposed to be this great diplomat, but our diplomatic standing around the world is in the toilet. We've never had it so bad. Antisemitism is everywhere. We are not cool. Not from Tucker Carlson to Ireland to Paris, France, to London, to to Columbia, to Harvard. Like, our standing, because of these attitudes, because of these weak attitudes, is not great. So it's a kasha. You're supposed to be this great, wow, you really know how to talk to the world. We're not in good stead in the world. So it's a kasha on him. So, again, we have to be, and this is the interplay of being a Jew. It's a tricky interplay of being a Jew. That on the one hand, you have to pray to Hashem and live with the time, and you have to be thankful for the leadership that we have. We have to be thankful for the state of Israel that we have, and at the same time, demand more, demand better. Don't get bummed out that it's not perfect. Don't be bummed out by that. It's never been perfect. Read the Tanakh. It's not a book of a perfect Jewish situation. And by the way, we're here in a Chabad shul, and one of my favorite books is this Hebrew book. It's sadly not in English. It's a Hebrew book called Berega Emet, which is about the Lubavitcher Rebbe's dealing with security issues in Israel with Israeli politicians. His communications and his dealing with Israeli politicians, and you see, and he's a gadol hador, and he's a prophet, in that sense, and he's telling them, don't give up land, don't do this. He was telling Begin, don't give up the Sinai, don't talk about the two-state solution, and he was telling that to Sharon, flatten Damascus, and they're not listening to him, and then it's that interplay where we live. We should be very thankful for it. Push for better policies. Don't get depressed by not great policies. Be part of the conversation. That's the greatest gift you can have. Hey, you're asking me tough questions. I like that.
Yeah, these are the questions I can't figure out.
Yeah,
I know they don't have answers. It's not like I'm actually. I just want to hear.
You know what? Maybe I want to say that you said to me just now that these questions may not have answers. They don't necessarily have answers, but what I think is important is the posture. How you approach the feeling towards Israel. That's what's really important here. Not, you know what I mean? You're right. These are complex questions. They may not have exact answers. They're political issues, they're spiritual issues. But what's the approach? What's your vector? Right. How do you see this thing? I see it as a great time in Jewish history.
Yeah.
I see the rebirth of Israel as a great thing. I see the Jewish state as being a great opportunity. I see it as a vehicle. It's holy to some extent, but it's also a vehicle. It's a hammer. It gets things done. I've dealt with a lot of politicians. I've dealt with a lot of policies. I'm as we say in Hebrew, mechuspas. My shell is hard. I'm hard in shell. I don't fall in love with politicians. I already know how to deal with them. You know what I mean? You learn the real game. The real game. The question is the posture. How do you approach this whole thing? You know what I mean? What's your shita? What's your derech? And my shita and my derech is that this is a great time, that Israel is a great opportunity, and that we are heading towards a Beit HaMikdash, that the most beautiful thing in the world is the rebuilding of Yerushalayim. Just seeing that, and I mean physically speaking, just to see it, to see Yerushalayim being built. There's nothing more beautiful in the world. That's beauty. That's beauty in this world. Mesos kol haaretz, that to see Yerushalayim being built, that's beautiful. That's Hashem's beauty. And to ask yourself the simple question, as a frum Jew should ask himself, like, am I working for Hashem's dream or for my dream? That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. That's it. That's the question. The rest of the questions are all tactical. The strategic question is, am I working for Hashem's dream or not? Am I part of His dream? Once you answer that question, that you want to be part of His dream, so the answers become, the approach becomes, it gives you a vector towards where you got to go. And then Hashem fills in the blanks of what we have to do to help him move along.
Right.
Help his dream move along.
Yeah. So, and then, I recently moved onto a hill in Judea.
Congratulations.
Thank
Big
you.
schut.
Yeah, it's very great. And, we're trying to help build it up.
You're trying to help build a place in Eretz Yisrael that was not built beforehand.
Yeah, no, it's.
You're not moving into an apartment. You're moving to a place where you're building Eretz Yisrael.
Yeah, I had this list to build my house and plant the trees there.
That's if I could impart onto you, Michael, any thought is talk to people about the schut. You know what I mean? That's what it is. It's a schut, and passion is infectious. People feel it. People can feel it. That's what it's about. Like, you have the schut to put down a flower in Eretz Yisrael. Wow, it should be.
That's what some of my most recent videos. It's just been me basically just talking passion. I have some of my videos I yell at people, and these videos I just recently been making more passion because the land is bringing that out.
Yeah.
But I wanted to talk about that because, when I drove through Judea, and I saw how many empty hills there were, and how many hills that aren't empty are Arabs, and there's so few Jews that are living in the center of our land, Judea.
Judea needs some loving.
Oh my gosh,
Judea needs loving,
and it's easy to love.
Yeah, it's easy to love, but it needs loving. and the state of Israel has not loved Judea enough.
Oh no,
no, it has not. It has not fulfilled its responsibility towards building up Yehuda, and it's a schut to build up Yehuda, and it needs the loving.
Yeah,
we have in some places a dearth of Jews and a lot of Arabs.
Yeah,
and that's not right. It's an imbalance. Not right at all.
So yeah, there's a lot more Israeli politics to get into there, but I'm not gonna. It could hurt. The fact that me living out there, my greatest enemy is just knowing that Israel can come in.
Our own beautiful army and our own beautiful police could come and take you out of your home for
when I look out my window and I see an army Jeep pass by, and it's always every day that I see that, my heart drops a little bit. I'm like, I hope they're not coming for us.
And it used to be worse though. It used to be much worse.
Yes.
It used to be much worse. It's much better today.
Baruch Hashem.
It's much, much better today, but you're right.
I want to ask on that. So
we still have some sick policies that we have to overcome.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So the reason, a long list of reasons why I came out there and why I'm doing what I'm doing. But, one of the top reasons was I saw this and I keep asking myself, like you were saying, taking the next step, doing a little more. So, I said to myself, what can I do about this? What can I do to make the situation better? So the best thing I can come up with is I got to come out there, build a house, hold down the land, and do what I wish other people would do. I got to set an example and get it done. Now, ever since I started doing that, more and more people have been reaching out to me after I'm making my videos and asking me, I love what you're doing. It's so amazing. I want to get involved. What can I do? Now, a lot of people tell me, they're not ready to come move their family out and build a house in Judea and take these risks. So what I would ask is we need a lot of change in this land, obviously. A lot of change. And in this Geula process that we're in. And for those in Beit Shemesh or in Yerushalayim who, regular families who have the passion, they want to do something. They want to be mighty men. They want to do something great for Klal Yisroel, for Eretz Yisrael. But obviously, moving out to Judea is not for everyone. What can people do? Normal, healthy people with families that want to take the next step and help change this system. And by system, I'm talking very specifically politics and the system of the IDF and all of these problems that we've been discussing till now that we have so little control of. We can't control the dumb decisions that Bibi makes. We can't control the IDF. We're doing great things, but also sometimes horrific things. So us little people, what can we do to make big changes?
The good news is that there's a lot. And there's just, Jews are very ingenious. They really are. Jews are just very ingenious. There's endless amount of things you could do. I mean, I could just start a litany list. Obviously, here you are. You made Aliyah. Bang. Ta-da.
For sure.
Right? Yeah.
What's the next?
Okay. Wait. So Aliyah is 1. And 2 is a house in Judea. Okay. And 3 is come volunteer on a hilltop in Judea. Come volunteer. I'll hook you up. No problem. Reach out to me. It's easy. Okay. There's volunteer opportunities in Judea. Great. Find an organization that you like. Yir David, Ateret Kohanim, Nachala. What I do, fightforisrael.org. Or Michael, and be like, Michael, I want to support you. I want to support because I know that people need another 4-wheel drive vehicle, or they need solar electricity out there on the hilltops. I want to do that. But maybe you feel that you're a person who wants to support the soldiers, and you want the soldiers to have more. So you make the challahs for the soldiers. And you make those things. Like maybe your mindset is a little bit different. You're more into chesed. You're more into goodness. You want more people to feel good in Beit Shemesh, because if people feel good in Beit Shemesh, then they're going to make more Aliyah to Beit Shemesh. Okay, and Beit Shemesh today is a thing. There's this amazing Daf Yomi, and everybody's talking about it. I love my neighbors, and it's the greatest place to live. I love that. When I hear that, I'm like happy. How do you think that happens? Because people have made it nice. And there's WhatsApp groups. Oh, did you know? Oh, can you help me find an apartment? Yes, do. There's this thing that's happening. So there's a million steps. First thing you have to do is just decide against the approach, the vector. I want to help build up Zion. I want to help build up the land of Israel. I want to be part of it. Who can I reach out to? How can I help? Oh, I want to reach out to Michal. I want to reach out to Yishai. I want to help Hebron. I'm involved in beautification projects all the time. We just take up thing. We took Kevrut Vishai, and the Kodesh Baruch Hu gave us the schut to beautify it. It cost $1 million. It took 4 years. Okay, but it's awesome. You know what I mean? And now we're on to the next holy spot, because I like holy places. Okay, I like helping holy places. I also help buy tractors for farmers.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay.
That's awesome.
It's great. You know what I mean? Let's do it. You know what I mean? And it's not money I keep. So take a step. Help a farm have a tractor. Find a farm. Find a community to twin with. I remember, I'll never forget. We lived in New Jersey. Close to us was Fair Lawn, New Jersey. Rabbi Benjamin Netanyahu, God bless him, and his amazing Rebbetzin Chevy. They, years and years ago, became sister communities with Ma'on in Drom Har Hebron in the South Hebron Hills. Years ago, before it was cool. They partnered. Was your shul partnered with a community? Do you have a community that you're a partner, that you have a picture of the community in Eretz Yisrael? Go to the rabbi. Say, Rabbi, I want to lead an initiative. And when you have an idea, the first thing to do is not to tell somebody else. The first thing to do is to write it. And then take ownership of it. Be like, I want our shul to partner with this hilltop, with this place, with Hebron, with Shamron. I want to partner. Okay, take a step. Have that picture in your shul of the place that you're connected to in Eretz Yisrael. See what I'm saying? It's like endless. You just have to be creative. You have to be creative. And remember that the Jews that are holding on to the land of Israel, the so-called hilltop youth, i.e. the pioneers of the young pioneers of today, they're the soldiers. They're heroes. They're just as heroic as the soldiers. The soldiers in green, the soldiers with the payas, and they're out there. So help them out as well. Okay? Take a stand. Take a position. Take a vector. I'm part of building Eretz Yisrael. It's not enough to wave the flag once a year on the Israel Day parade. That's being pro-Israel. My wife taught me there's a difference between pro-Israel and Zionist. And you could change it to Torah language if you want. There's a difference between somebody who supports Israel as a theory and is involved in the building. You want to build Yerushalayim, Ateret Kohanim, that's the old city. They're buying out properties. You want to build Hebron Fund. You want to build Yir David, City of David. You want to build Shamron, Yossi Dagan. There's these heroes. They're out there. They're out there. They're doing it. They're getting it done. So just find a place to attack and to be part of it. Yeah, and money is part of it, and going there is part of it. Bring the bus when you bring that group tour. Well, we're going to Hebron. We're going to Judea. We got to go. No, we're afraid. We're scared. No, we're not scared. Teach them to not be afraid. That's a big one. Teach people to not be afraid.
I agree with.
That's huge. That's what you're really doing at the end of the day. You're really overcoming the chet of the meraglim. We can discuss it. The sin of the spies. We can discuss it on many different levels. But at the bottom baseline level, it's fear.
Yeah.
Fear. That's what it's. And that's what Kalav B'Yikfunei says. Don't be afraid. Hashem is with us.
That's what Hashem wants. He wants a strong.
Don't be afraid. That's the bottom line of that whole story. Fear versus faith in Hashem. Fear versus Eretz Yisrael. That's the issue here. That's the issue. That's really the issue about life, by the way, in general.
Oh yeah.
It's a life issue. But certainly true about Eretz Yisrael. And for Jews, we have a tendency to be afraid of Eretz Yisrael, a tendency to be afraid of Geula. Okay, so we're going to overcome it. We're going to teach. Oh, here's another one. I'm just coming up with them in my head right now. Find a Torah Eretz Yisrael book. There's many of them, and start teaching them in your shul. Make chabura. 3 guys and a lady. Okay, and they're learning the chabura of Torah Eretz Yisrael. Say, we want to have more Torah Eretz Yisrael in the shul. More Torah to Eretz Yisrael. Rav Kook, I don't know what. There's a million things. There's so many good books out there. There's the book about the land of Israel and the Parsha. Learn the Torah of Eretz Yisrael. That's also something. It'll bring you in, baby. And of course, buy that apartment. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The answer isn't one. I can give you many ideas, but it's your posture. It's your vector. It's what you want. If you want it, the opportunities will come. You'll have to beat them off with a stick, because people will realize that you're the Eretz Yisrael person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Be that Eretz Yisrael person in the shul. Be that person in Brooklyn, in Lakewood. There's definitely a lack of Eretz Yisrael consciousness in Lakewood.
Oh, don't get me started.
There's a problem.
Oh yeah, that's right.
There's a problem. And here I understand where you're a little bit more aggressive there. I get that, because there needs to be a little bit of aggressive. Hello, like don't. This is the mitzvah of our time.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes you go Parshat Shlach to some shul, and they're like talking about the rabbi gets up, talks about korbanos and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
No. You're missing the point
I
of
used
the
to make
Parsha.
jokes about it. It's unbelievable. Torah anytime. I listen to
Right.
like 20 Shalach Shir, and like nobody's mentioning the spice, and I'm like, how can that not be the theme of the Parsha?
Don't look there. Look here. And even the korbanos of the Parsha are all about the korbanos in Eretz Yisrael. The whole thing, right? The whole challah and the other tzitzis, the whole thing. It's like Eretz Yisrael. So, okay, you know what I mean? But maybe you're that person. Maybe you're that person. You're watching this video right now. You're a Lakewood person. Be that Eretz Yisrael person. You will see other people will follow you. Because it's emes. Because it's truth. So just be that catalyst.
Yeah.
Be that juggernaut within the system. Be a little bit of the bug and not the feature, and you'll see that like more and more people will come to you.
I like that. That's great. Yeah, that's great. Because people reach out to me all the time, even from
Do you have
America.
a book that you're giving them? You have to have a book. There's a few different books. We can
I
discuss
have actually on my website. I have like books I suggest on my website.
Great.
So I have there like probably like about 10 different English, Sfarim, well, maybe 2 or 3 in Hebrew, but just books that I've read that are just like, I think just the best. And yeah, I think they would inspire any logical person to really think
I'd love to see your list. But that's very powerful.
Yeah.
People read those books. Let them teach it. Let them talk about it. Make a chabura. Make a WhatsApp group. Make a WhatsApp group. Eretz Yisrael in Lakewood. Make a thing. You know what I'm saying? There's so many.
It's a good idea. That's why I asked it, because I've given people ideas, but some of the I like that the book idea is great, because there's sincere people in Lakewood.
Totally.
Brooklyn, they reach out to me.
You see that?
And that's an easy thing to do.
You see that? That's Ahavat Yisrael. You see? It's Ahavat Yisrael. We got to come from a place of Ahavat Yisrael. These are good people. They're good Jews.
Oh, absolutely.
Hashem-loving Jews. They're good Jews. They're Torah Jews. But this has been a little bit.
They need a little kick.
Yeah, they need a little, but a loving kick.
A loving kick.
A loving kick.
A kick and a hug.
You're a Torah person? Good. So you need a little Torah to Eretz Yisrael.
Yeah.
It'll change you inside.
That's good. Okay, that's good. I like that. So for those out there, start a chabura.
Yeah.
With a simple sefer in Eretz Yisrael, it can go such a long way.
Wow.
Somebody told me the other day.
And by the way, don't be embarrassed to start small. It doesn't have to be big.
Yeah.
3 guys.
So somebody told me the other day. He told me that him and all of his siblings live in Eretz Yisrael, but his parents don't live in Eretz Yisrael. He said, why? Because his parents aren't ready to come here. They have a business, this and that. But growing up by the Shabbos table, his father would open up a sefer or Dvar Torah, and it would always be about Eretz Yisrael. And he would always preach to his children about Eretz Yisrael. And his entire family moved here. And he didn't come here.
And he's not only that, but that father is in that shul. And he says, my kids are in Eretz Yisrael. And he gets up and he davens for the Medina, and he does all that stuff. He's the guy, and everybody knows 3 of his kids are in Eretz Yisrael. He put his money where his mouth is. He sent his kids. See, I love that. You know what I mean? That's beautiful stuff. And of course, you got to talk about it, sing about it, see it in the parsha. You know what I mean? Show it in the parsha, highlight it. Chetem meraglim, don't gloss over it. See it for what it is. And once you see it, Eretz Yisrael in the parsha, it's everywhere. It's all the time. So we're coming up now to Sefer Dvarim. We're at the end of, I don't know when this is going to be played, but right now we're at the end, we're towards the end of Bamidbar. Comes up Sefer Dvarim. Oh my God. Like,
oh yeah, Sefer Dvarim is basically just an Eretz Yisrael Sefer.
Eretz Yisrael, Eretz this way. It's like you don't even know what to do with yourself.
Yeah.
You don't know which pasuk is the more awesome pasuk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I always have a field day with
Yeah.
with Sefer Dvarim.
So you just have to see it, you have to show it, and at the same time do it in a loving way and give people opportunities.
Amazing. There's so many things to discuss, but Shkoyach Yishai, because I don't want to make this too long, but I appreciate you taking your time out to talk to me, and you're a wise man, and I recommend everyone to watch your stuff, because not every video is relevant to every person, but overall, you're speaking some truthful words that people need to hear out there. So
the thing that people like about the stuff that I'm putting out, I don't think anybody says it to me, but that's my sense, is that we're able to relatively seamlessly bring together Torah and politics. Yeah. They're one. Yeah. It's one thing. And some people, they have a hard time, fusing those things, but they are fused.
Right. People look at Torah as like some like ancient book that was our history, and now there's just real life.
Right.
But it's not that. And the more Tanakh you learn, the more you see, I think you mentioned this before, and this is something that obviously I talk about all the time in my videos, like the more you'll see that everything going on today has happened 100 times already in the past.
That's right.
Nothing is new. People think, how could it be that this is the time of the Geula when the leaders are secular and the land was built up by non-religious Jews? It's like, you've never learned any Tanakh. That's like the story. I mean, the vast majority of Jewish kings were significantly worse.
That's right.
Than Bibi or even the worst politician out there right now. Even those who hate God, they are not putting up idols in the Beis HaMikdash, which King Menashe did, and the Torah is still able to be king.
That's right.
So when you learn Tanakh, you realize that we're going through just
one of the if we want to go a little deeper though, one of the traits of Amalek is that he's totally cool with us learning Torah in the desert.
Yeah,
he's totally cool with us. You're like going to the ashram, spirituality, but don't get involved in artsiyut, in the lowliness of the issues of the land. That's where he's comfortable. You guys do spirituality. I take care of physicality. And the chiddush of Eretz Yisrael is that no, we're actually bringing sanctity to the land. We're dealing with godlessness. We're bringing Hashem's presence in this world. And this here again, I'm a big fan of the Chabad formulation of what the purpose of the world is. If according to the Tanya, that whole thing, they understand that the purpose of the world is to bring God's presence into the lower domains. Okay, so the place of that lower domain is Eretz Yisrael and Yerushalayim. So our job is to help bring God's presence into Eretz Yisrael. That means more Torah, more teaching, more buildings, more Yerushalayim, more Mikdash consciousness, more of that good stuff.
I agree.
More of that good stuff. And but you could also turn it if you want to play with your Yetzer Hara, be like, but I want to be part of it. Like, I don't want to miss it.
Yeah. Don't
be a loser. You don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss the big thing of our time. You don't want to miss it. That's people like you, Michal. I believe fully that you're a Torah observant, God-fearing, God-loving Jew.
Oh yeah.
But there's a part of you that's also, I don't want to miss it.
Oh yeah.
I want to FOMO.
I wish more Jews had FOMO.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. I don't want to be a loser. I want to be in it. I want to be in the big thing.
That's why I said recently in one of my videos, I said, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, one of these people is going to tell you, if you don't get here in time, Moshiach's going to come and you're just going to die in the diaspora or something. I'm not going to say that. But if you're not here when we're laying the bricks of the Beis HaMikdash and you can't get in for whatever reason because the lines to El Al airplanes are, through the roof and there's 3-year waiting lists, and I'm out there and I'm chiseling stones.
There's not going to be a 3-year waiting list. There are going to be planes landing every 5 minutes
I hope
from
so.
All over the world.
But you don't want to miss a second of what's going on here.
Yeah, you don't want to miss being part of that. You don't want to miss that. But there will be planes. There's going to be a consciousness, a global consciousness of the beauty and the majesty of Israel. There's going to be planes landing all the time. If I was Lufthansa or KLM or Virgin or British Atlantic, whatever, I'd have a picture on my wall that says the proudest airline, the route that we have is our flight to Eretz Yisrael, to the land of Israel. You know,
Yeah.
right now barely any foreign airlines are flying. Shame on them. Shame on them. I understand the economics. You're afraid this and that, but shame on you. You should declare, nothing's going to stop us from coming to the land of Israel. No, that's the source of our blessing.
If only.
Yeah.
If only.
Bezrat Hashem.
All right, shkach, Yishai.
God bless you. Thanks so much.
You too.